Air traffic continues to rise rapidly across the Asia-Pacific region. It becomes increasingly vital to manage airspace and airport capacity efficiently. In this session, we will hear from key voices across the aviation ecosystem, from airports and airlines to air traffic management experts, as they share their insights, aspirations, and expectations from the transformative initiative. We are honored to have with us a distinguished panel of experts who bring diverse perspective into this very important discussion. So please join me in welcoming our distinguished moderator for this session, Mr. Dan Frederick, Regional Manager for Asia Pacific at Airspace. A round of applause for him. Thank you. Also, our distinguished speakers for this session are Mr. Abdul Hasman Abdul Muhimi, General Manager Operations at Malaysia Airports Holding Berhad, who has joined us online. I hope, sir, you can hear us. Yes, let's put our hands together to welcome sir. We would like to invite on stage Captain Digvijay Singh, Chief Pilot, Boeing 777, and Vice President Flight Operations at Air India. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Inviting Mr. Hiroyuki Takata, Regional Officer ATM ICAO, who has also joined us online. Very warm welcome to you, sir. And inviting Mr. Po Thin So, Director for Asia Pacific Affairs at Kanzo Civilian Navigation Services Organization. A very warm welcome to you, sir. To moderate this important session, we are pleased to welcome Mr. Dan Frederick, Regional Manager for the Asia-Pacific region at Airspace, who is a global leading global aviation consulting and training provider with over 15 years of experience as a senior aviation consultant. He brings deep expertise in aerodrome planning, safety, and compliance in international aviation regulations. Has led global projects, served as EASA compliance manager at an international airport, and is an active contributor to several international aviation expert groups. And with that, I now hand over the session to our moderator to kindly take the conversation forward. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. So, good afternoon and welcome to our panel about airspace and airport capacity. I can tell you already it's a great view from the stage and the other perspective. Before we start, I unfortunately have to inform you, you could see it already, that two of our panelists were not able to come today due to unforeseen travel issues, but I'm very happy to welcome them virtually here with us on the TV. What is this panel about? Air traffic is expected to increase in the coming years. Hence, the initiative of next-generation air traffic flow management to be implemented for the Asia-Pacific region with the goal of achieving a seamless cross-border arrangement highlighted to ICAO has sparked an interest among aviation stakeholders. It is envisaged that seamless cross-border arrangements will improve airlines' flight time performance and increase airport capacity. The session will focus on the aviation stakeholders' preparedness and aspirations towards the realization of this initiative. Before we start, I would like to introduce our experts here on stage and of course also virtually. So, starting to the left, we have here Mr. Po Thin So. He's currently the Director Asia Pacific Affairs of Kanzo and advisor to the Civil Aviation Authority of Singapore. Before this, he was the Deputy Director General Air Navigation Services of the Civil Aviation Authority of Singapore. He started his career at the Singapore Air Force as an intercept controller, and in sum he has about 35 years of experience both in civil and military aviation. So welcome. Then in the middle here on stage is Captain Digvijay Singh. He's currently serving as the Chief Pilot of the Boeing 777 fleet of Air India, and he's also the Vice President Flight Operations of Air India. He has about 3 decades of experience in the airline industry, specializing in flight operations, training, and regulatory compliance. Okay. Then, switching to our virtual guest, Mr. Takata Hiroyuki. He's the regional officer, air traffic management at ICAO APAC regional office in Bangkok. His work there is all aimed to support the APAC states in managing their traffic growth. He started his career as an air traffic controller at Fukuoka Area Control Center in Japan and has more than 15 years of experience as a qualified ATC and air traffic flow manager. He also has more than 10 years of experience in the managing level of the Japan Civil Aviation Bureau. And last but not least, we have with us virtually Mr. Abdul Hasman Abdul Muhyiddin. He's the General Manager of Operations at Kuala Lumpur International Airport's Terminal 1. He oversees their critical departments, including the Airport Operations Control Center, Flight Operations Center, Terminal Services Divisions, Customer Experience Management, and the Operations Management. Besides the managing of the day-to-day operations of the Terminal 1 at the airport, he also plays a key role in developing and implementing the ACDM at Kuala Lumpur International Airport. So please welcome our panelists. And I was already introduced, so I make it very short again. So my name is Jan Friedrich, I'm the Regional Manager of Airspace Singapore. Airspace is a globally operating consultancy and training provider with offices in Berlin, Germany, and Italy, and since 2 years also here in Singapore. And our strong focus at Airspace is airport planning, airport safety, airport safeguarding, and also, for example, flight procedure design. So, before we start with our questions, Paul team will provide us with a short introduction to the traffic, and then we continue with the questions. Thank you.
I'll give a short briefing about the ATFM. Can I have a slide, please? Right, next slide. So the topic for our panel is balancing airport and airspace capacity. On the issue of balancing the demand and supply for airspace and air traffic service capacity, there's a long-established practice in the aviation world. And this practice is known as air traffic flow management. So what I will do in the next 5 to 10 minutes is to talk about how ATFM, air traffic flow management, is done, currently done in Asia Pacific, what are the limitations, and what are the enhancements going forward. The point that I want to put across at the end of the 5-10 minutes or end of the panel is that there are different ways of doing ATFM. There's ATFM and there's ATFM. In fact, I will go further to say there are 50 shades of grey to ATFM. You can do ATFM at different levels of quality. So if you ask somebody and they tell you that, oh yes, I'm doing ATFM to balance airspace and airport capacity, you need to probe deeper. What type of ATFM are you doing? What is the quality of ATFM? Because the issue is not balancing airspace and airport capacity, but rather how well are we balancing airport and airspace capacity? Before I go on further, the question for us is there going to be a widening imbalance between airport and airspace capacity? I think the answer to me is likely to be yes. There's likely to be a widening imbalance. And we have heard from the minister yesterday, in India, they doubled the number of airports in 10 years. And this morning, we have heard from Stefano, as much as US $240 billion is going into airport investment over the next 10 years. But at the same time, we know airspace capacity is finite. And the rate of growth of ATS capacity, based on what I know, I don't have a quantitative number to give you right now, is not as fast as what we expect from airport investment. So there's likely to be a widening gap. So what is the answer? Part of the answer is air traffic flow management. What is ATFM? ATFM is the service. It's the service to balance demand and supply for airspace and ATS capacity. The quintessential, to me, the most comprehensive form of ATFM is practiced in Europe in the form of network manager by Eurocontrol. It is centralized. There's a single ATFM unit, there's a single system, single source of truth, single solution. But it's underpinned by a multilateral consensus and a legal and political agreement. In the Asia Pacific, we don't have such a luxury. We don't have such a multilateral agreement. So how is ATFM practiced in the Asia Pacific? Most of the ATFM units practice ATFM within the national borders, only with domestic traffic. Case in point, India, or Japan, Australia. It's practiced within the national border, only with domestic traffic. One significant cross-border multilateral ATFM arrangement came about around the time of 2012-2013. It's known as the Asia Pacific Cross-Border Multinodal ATFM Collaboration. It's not the only